Hey, what's up guys, we're back with What If Naruto Was Raised by Itachi. Enjoy. Chapter 6. Immortals. This day started out as any other had during their stay in Wave. The group had woken up at the usual time. At breakfast they ate in silence, until a certain overall-wearing boy decided to ruin the quiet atmosphere. "Why do you all train so hard? You're just going to die," cried out Inari, slamming his hands on the table. "You're right, kid. All of us are going to die. It might be today, might be tomorrow, very few of us retire. But the fact of the matter is that as ninja we knew this reality the second we put this headband on," stated Naruto as he calmly looked to the young boy. His calmness startled many of the people at the table, but none more that Kakashi, who was now observing the blonde even closer. "No, you idiot. Gato is going to kill all of you. There are no such thing as heroes," stated the boy, his anger rising to the surface. "There are heroes, Inari. Take the Yondaime Hokage for example. He almost single-handedly ended a war. To the village hidden in the leaves, he's a hero, but to Iwa, he's the greatest monster. I suppose you could say there really are no heroes, as one man's hero is another's most hated, but I'm not giving up on my dream, and I can assure you, I won't die by Gato's hand," stated Naruto calmly, shocking many at the table once again that the usually happy and somewhat loud boy was still so level-headed. "You don't know what it's like to live a hard childhood. You ninja are all babied," shouted Inari. Kakashi's eyes both widened in fear, not just the thought of Naruto, but also Sasuke ripping into the boy. "Again, you are wrong. You still have a mother and grandfather, who love you and take care of you. You see Sasuke over there. His whole family was killed in one day by a man who had been considered a family friend. You see Kakashi. His mother died when he was just a newborn, and his father killed himself because of a choice he made to save the lives of his comrades, which ended up costing more lives as a result. I, on the other hand, didn't know who my parents were until I was 8. I got kicked out of the orphanage when I was 3 and beaten almost daily until I was 8 years old when Sasuke's clan tried to kill me. I had to leave the village, move around the elemental nations, live by killing my own food, and I made most of my clothes. From the time I was 3 till about 3 months ago, I didn't have a roof over my head. I've never known a mother's love, never knew what my next meal was going to be, or where it would come from. I fought for everything I have. You may think you life is hard, but I bet that every orphan in that village about half a mile away from here would give everything they have to live your life for a week. There is always someone with a harder life than you, and by God have mercy on the ones who had it harder than me," stated Naruto, his carefree expression never leaving his face, though his words took to the ominous side. His face held a small smile, but it was clear to everyone but Sakura that everything the blonde had said was true. You really lived like that?" questioned Inari, too shocked to let tears fall from his eyes. "Of course he didn't. Only Sasuke-kun's life is that smack." Sakura was cut off when she was sent across the room. Everyone was shocked when they saw the pinkett fly across the room, and even more shocked when it was the last person anyone would expect to have hit the pink-haired girl standing over her. Tsunami stood above the young Kunoichi, her hand still stinging from the huge backhand that had launched her from her chair and into the wall. "What kind of monster are you? What could possibly be wrong with you that you could even think like that? Any half-retarded dog could understand that every word your teammate just spoke was the truth. All you ever do is insult and belittle him. You don't even know that the only reason that I'm even alive right now, and that you're alive for that matter, is because Naruto saved our lives. 3 years ago, before Gato even came to Wave, I was almost raped. If it wasn't for Naruto, Inari could have another brother or sister. I heard from both your sensei and my father that if it wasn't for Naruto, you wouldn't have lasted against the guy you fought. From now on, you will not speak in my house, and the next time I hear you bad-mouthing Naruto, I'll make sure you can't talk for the next year." After the intense tirade from the angered mother, Tsunami left the house and went to sit on the porch, praying to God that no one came to try to talk to her. Back inside, Tazuna was speechlessly staring at not the door, but the young blonde who had continued eating. "So it was you who helped her back then?" Tazuna leaned back and looked at the table. "I owe you a great deal more than you realize. Please follow me. I request the rest of you stay here." Tazuna and Naruto stood and walked up the stairs. Inari had a small smile on his face as he re-evaluated every good aspect of his life. Sakura had passed out from the pain and possible brain damage from the monstrous backhand, as well as the killing intent from Kakashi and Tsunami. Sasuke continued to brood as he went over the words his blonde teammate had spoken, trying to find out how the blonde had got so powerful. In Tazuna's room, so you were the one who helped out Tsunami so long ago. I'm in your debt, Naruto, stated Tazuna as he walked to the window next to his bed. Why do I get the feeling there's more to this? Questioned Naruto as he leaned up against the wall. The Tsunami you just saw smack the pink-haired girl. I hadn't seen that Tsunami since you saved her. After that, she withdrew into herself. She puts up a strong front of being a kind and caring person, but that's not really her. She used to be a total tomboy, always getting in fights to defend her friends. You saw how strong she is, right? She sent that girl flying through the air like she was a balled-up piece of paper. That's the Tsunami I raised, and that's the mother I believe Inari needs. Stated Tazuna as he looked out his window at his daughter sitting on the swing next to Kakashi, her face showing a pissed-off facade. I guess what I'm saying is, you have the power to change people for the better. This country needs a hero, kid. I believe that you're that hero. Tazuna, I'll do my best to help out, but I don't see how I can be the hero. I've been here a week and I haven't done anything but help build the bridge with my shadow clones. Stated Naruto. Hope, kid. You give people hope. And if there's one thing that can beat Gato, it's a village full of hope. With Tsunami and Kakashi, I know you're not in the best mood right now, but can I ask how you know Naruto? There's only a handful of people that would defend him like that, asked Kakashi as he sat next to Tsunami. The young mother sighed and told her story. I was getting back from visiting a friend in the village when a large man grabbed me and took me into the forest. I rather not relive that, so I'll just say that Naruto and a man that looked a lot like your other student saved me. I'm not sure what he did, but the man who tried to attack me gave a look of immense pain and then he was dead. After that, he gave me his coat to wear home. They helped me back onto the path to my house and followed from behind until I got to my home. When I turned to see if they were still there, they were already gone. If you recognized Naruto, then why didn't you say anything when we first got here? Asked Kakashi. As I said before, I tried to forget that day. But when that pink-haired bitch started to berate Naruto, I just kinda lost it. Next day Team 7 arrived at the bridge, only for the sight of 4 people standing amongst a battlefield's worth of injured or dead workers to enter their vision. Kakashi. Stated Naruto calmly. Are you back at 100%? No, about 90%, stated Kakashi quietly, making sure to keep that bit of info from the enemy. Shit. Kakashi, take Zabooza, try to beat him fast, I'm going to need help with this. Sasuke, you're going to have to fight the Hunter Nin, stated Naruto. And who are you going to take? Questioned Sasuke. The Uchiha code said that as an Uchiha, he has to defeat the strongest opponent, as he was the strongest of the group. The two S-class criminals. Stated Naruto as he flashed away, leaving Kakashi shocked and Sasuke brooding about being denied his rights as an Uchiha. Naruto's fight. Naruto flashed in front of the smaller man and threw a huge left hook, which was stealthily avoided. Fuck me. How much did it cost to hire you two? A lot, but the bonus of having the bounty of Kakashi Hatake and Zabooza Momochi helped to lower the price a bit. Stated the tall man. He had green eyes, his face and hair were covered with wrappings. Plus I'm sure it won't hurt to bring back a tailed beast container, stated the shorter of the two. He had short dark spiky hair, a scar on his chin in the shape of an X, and a black patch over his right eye. Kakazu and Danzo. Both of you are considered to be immortal. I'll have to go all out from the start, stated Naruto as he removed his glasses, showing his blue, ringed eyes. Both Danzo and Kakazu were shocked to see the same dujutsu that their leader had, even if it was a different color. Naruto shot forward, a wind Rasengan in his right hand. He started heading towards Kakazu, weaving wildly through the tendrils that were coming out of the masked man's hands. Kakazu released his fire and earth hearts to try to counter the ringing ball of death. Too slow, shouted Naruto as he disappeared and reappeared behind the bulky man for a split second before he disappeared again and drove the wind Rasengan into Danzo's back, as the Shimura had been waiting to see the damage this new technique could do, only to feel it firsthand. Naruto didn't wait to confirm his death as he disappeared again and drove a lightning Rasengan through Kakazu's earth mask. Naruto jumped back, taking a quick glance at the other fights. Kakashi vs Zabooza, that blonde brat of yours is ridiculous. Going up against two S-class ninja, stated Zabooza in his usual gravelly voice. Your fight is with me, stated Kakashi as he charged Zabooza with a kunai in hand. Zabooza slashed at Kakashi's leg, targeting the previously weakened area. Kakashi parried the slash and spun around to swipe at the former missed nin. You're still injured, Kakashi, you won't survive this encounter. Sasuke vs Haku, you are very skilled. The fact that you have yet to be injured by my needles speaks volumes of your skill. But that ends now, ice style. Demonic ice mirrors. Sasuke stood strong in the middle of the fountains of quickly freezing water that had been deposited around him by several water jutsu. His newly rebuilt smugness retained from mastering the water walking and agility exercises in just under 3 days had jumped to a whole new level after he stood his ground against the fake hunter nin. No one has made it out of this jutsu. Not even Zabooza-sama can beat me in here. Take this moment to find some form of peace. Naruto vs Kakazu and Danzo. Naruto dodged a powerful fist from the human ragdoll Kakazu, when he was caught in the shoulder by passing kunai that was coated in wind chakra. Fuck old man. You steal the eyes of the Uchiha, implant the cells of Hashirama, and you have wind nature. And on top of that you have an army of drones. Danzo smirked. I turned my army over to someone who will use them more effectively than I ever did. And I may not have been the one responsible for that massacre, but I am an S-rank ninja. You would do well to remember that, boy, and when I see something I want, I take it. Like these eyes, for example. Hey, too bad my eyes are worth more than all the eyes you stole. How does that feel, old man? Even your greatest victory is a footnote to the dojutsu I was born with. Stated Naruto, trying and successfully taunting the ex-Konoha elder. You insolent brat. I'll show you the power of the Sharingan. Stated Danzo as he ripped the bandages from his face, revealing an eye he never thought he would see, the eye of another man that had helped him in the past. The eye of Shisui Uchiha. You son of a bitch. You stole his eye too. Suddenly, Naruto became cloaked in a red aura, then a black one, then, a skeleton started to appear. You're both lucky, you're the first ones I face while in complete control of my six-tailed form. I don't know you all too well, Kakazu, but the fossil will have to die for his crimes. You best hope you do better than Orochimaru did. Naruto disappeared in a blur of black and planted a fist in Danzo's gut, folding him in half and crushing every bone that made up his torso and liquefying his internal organs. A sickening squelching, ripping, crushing sound tore through the air on and around the bridge. Zabooza and Kakashi stopped their fight in the middle of a power struggle to watch Danzo's body crumple around what they could only assume was Naruto's fist, then launch across the bridge and cross-body a rather large beam. Another crunching sound rang through the bridge as his heels touched the back of his head and his now dead body slipped down the metal beam, only for the body to shimmer out of existence and for another Danzo to appear from behind the metal beam. Kakazu. You going to help me with this brat, or are you going to just stand there? How are you alive? I crushed your spine and turned your insides into literal jelly. Is that what you meant by the power of the Uchiha? Is that why one of them just closed? Questioned Naruto as he pointed to the eye above Danzo's hand, which was now closed. Danzo squinted his eyes in anger. This brat just figured out one of his powers and most likely the way to beat his trump card. Kakazu, in the other hand, who still had the broken and shredded earth heart hanging out of his chest, was thinking of retreat. The blonde had shown that he could avoid his combination attacks and even managed to get behind him and take out one of his hearts. Thought leader Sama would be very upset if he left a container, even if it wasn't the one he was assigned. Haku vs Sasuke. Seems my bloodline is better than yours, Uchiha. Even if you can telegraph my attacks, your body isn't fast enough to avoid them, stated Haku, her real body in the topmost mirror. Don't insult the Uchiha, you peasant. No blood is stronger than the Uchiha, stated Sasuke as we wobbled into a fighting stance. You're pitiful. I wish I was allowed to kill you, but master says to leave you alive. Stated Haku as she threw another volley of Senbon, sending a few of them into Sasuke, one piercing a cluster of nerves in his left shoulder, right at the base of the neck. You're done. If I wished to kill you, you would be helpless to stop me. Learn humility, Uchiha, as the next opponent you face will defiantly not have a problem ending your pitiful existence. Naruto's fight. Danzo, stated Kakazu as he dodged another blast of pure wind chakra, I believe we should report our finding to Leader Sama. No, I still have one move I'd like to use. Summoning. Baku, shouted Danzo. In a plume of smoke, a giant elephant chimera, look up Danzo's summon, took up his portion of the bridge. Once again all fighting stopped as the Baku landed on the bridge with a resounding crack as the bridge structure was stressed to the limit. What the hell is that thing? Questioned Haku as she let the mirrors down, as Sasuke lay on the ground, breathing, but unable to move as there was a needle in the base of the neck. The Baku. The creature capable of eating dreams, stated Kakashi, standing next Zabooza, who visibly shuddered from seeing the legendary creature. The giant Baku let out a deafening roar that shook the bridge as it charged towards Naruto, Danzo jumping on his summon's back as it continued its charge. Naruto jumped out of the path on the rampaging summon and onto the water left of the bridge, praying the beast couldn't move on water. He released a breath he didn't know he was holding when the Baku stopped at the edge of the bridge and let out a resounding roar. Danzo, keep him on the water, stated Kakazu as he released the wind, lightning and water masks from his back. As they started launching all manner of combination jutsu possible for the three elements, aiming at Blonde or at the areas around him as Naruto used his outrageous speed to move from spot to spot as he dodged the attacks. Keep him on his toes, shouted Danzo as the Baku started to deeply inhale, sucking up everything within its path. The vacuum increased in power when Danzo used his strong wind affinity to speed up the moving air. Naruto started slipping across the water towards the Baku as Kakazu fired of combination jutsu. Shit, Shinra Tensai, the wave of gravity negated the Baku's pull and defecting the jutsu that the masks had sent at him. Bashino Tenin, shouted Naruto as he pulled the Baku and Danzo off the bridge and dropped it into the deep water, forcing it to either dispel or drown, while Danzo pumped chakra into his legs as he leapt as high as possible into the air. While Danzo was in the air, Naruto was forced to dodge tendril after tendril from Kakazu as the human ragdoll kept him moving, forcing him to go to his four-tailed state once again. Koto Amatsukami, shouted Danzo as he landed in front of Naruto. Naruto froze as he looked into Shisui's eye. Danzo gained a triumphant look across his face as he moved across the water towards his target. Kit. Use as much of your chakra and my chakra as possible right now. Even the son of the great Yondaime will follow my. An explosion of hatred and malice filled the air as Kyuubi's chakra surrounded Naruto's body in an even denser and darker layer, immediately jumping to 6 tails and then growing to 7, then 8. I refuse to be controlled by that damned eye again, shouted a powerful voice that wasn't Naruto as the now giant hairless Kyuubi swiped at Danzo, catching him in the chest and ripping him in half, until he once again shimmered in and out of existence. Kyuubi. Danzo. We need to get out of here now, shouted Kakazu as his hearts returned to him and he disappeared in a burst of speed, planning to get the information to Leader Sama as soon as possible. Until we meet again, boy. I'm not sure how you resisted my genjutsu, but I'm not done with you yet, stated Danzo as he too disappeared after dodging another swipe of the Naruto Kyuubi. Kit. Stop channeling my chakra or you'll go full 9 tails, shouted Kyuubi, somehow getting through to Naruto because he slowly started to transform back into his former self. The Kyuubi cloak disappeared, revealing the charred and bleeding body of Naruto, who soon after dropped to his knees and let loose a pain-filled howl as his vision turned black and he started to sink into the waves. Unknown location. To resist Koto Amatsukami like that, and then to fight back against the Kyuubi's chakra. This child is special. Alright, I believe he passes my preliminary test. He lead the enemy away from his comrades and overcame one of the most powerful genjutsus there is. A stronger will I have never seen in a human, stated a tall, lean man with black and white eyes and brown, shoulder-length hair, wearing a dark brown toga. Okay Ra, wake him up, stated Iroh with a slight grin on his face. The short redhead nodded and closed his eyes. With Naruto, it's not your time yet. Awaken, shouted a powerful voice as Naruto found himself wide awake and in agonizing pain about 10 feet under the surface of the water. Leave the water, your tenant will heal you, just get the bridge. Who are you? I can. No you're not the fuzz-bee, ball, thought Naruto as he fought through the slowly dulling pain to get back to the surface of the water. My name is Ra, now get to the bridge, stated the voice. Naruto decided that it was in his best interest to do just that, as he pulled himself onto the surface of the water and started to move towards the bridge, his skin peeling and regrowing as he moved, keeping an eye on his surroundings to be sure to avoid another attack. He spotted a small group of boats on the end of the unfinished bridge, thugs unloading onto the bridge. By the time he made it back to the bridge, his skin was done peeling and he almost had all the burns healed and bleeding stopped. Unfortunately, his shirt was completely burned off and his pants were now tattered shorts. Naruto jumped up on the bridge just in time to see Gato and his thugs assembled at the end of the badly damaged bridge. "I'm starting to think you ninja are just a bunch of pussies. The great demon of the mist can barely hold his own against Scarecrow, and then the two I hired to help ran away after a light show. The one who kills Zabooza gets his paycheck. Haration," thought Naruto as he flashed in front of the bandits. It was obvious to the blonde that his sensei was somewhat worn down and he was still keeping Zabooza in check. Sasuke had lost to Haku, and appeared to be out cold, though still breathing. Sakura was still shaking from the power of the Kyuubi. Shit. Almost out of chakra from fighting off that damn Genjutsu. Gotta do this the old-fashioned way. Naruto unsealed the immortal phoenix and started a deadly dance of carnage and gore that tunneled through the wave of thugs on his way to Gato. The rest of Team 7 as well as Zabooza and Haku watched in amazement as Naruto tore his way through the countless thugs that made up Gato's army. "He is a monster. My mom was right," Zabooza stated at the pink-haired girl in amazement. "How in the hell did you become a kunoichi? You think that's bad? I killed a whole class of academy students just to get my headband. This is the ninja world, girl, and if you can't handle it, you should just retire now." Sakura looked for Sasuke to save her from the mean monk's words, only to see that he still couldn't move. She shrieked and ran to help him. Kakashi looked at his student with shame in his eyes. She was useless, and if he didn't change that soon, she would die very soon. Kakashi turned back to the fight, or slaughter as many would call it, just in time to see Naruto reach the short businessman. "What the hell are you?" shouted Gato in fear. After seeing this kid tear through most of his men with a sword bigger than he was, it was understandable that the tiny businessman was terrified. "Gato, for the crimes you've committed, your fate is death," stated Naruto as he placed his hand on top of the short monk's head, and as slowly as possible ripped his soul out. "This fate was too good for you," stated Naruto as he turned back to see all the remaining bandits looking at him like the devil himself was standing before them. Boo. The remaining bandits fled the other way. Unfortunate, it was towards a still somewhat fresh Kakashi and Zabooza, who tore them apart. "Good. Everyone is safe. Now, I can sleep," thought Naruto as he fell face first onto what was left of the bridge. A moment later, Kakashi was next to his fallen student. "Unknown location. Good, he will make a fine champion. Though he will still have to take my test," stated Rock, "as well as mine, but I agree with you this time, you damn cat, he will make a great champion," stated Iroh. He looked to see Ra in deep thought. "What's on your mind, Ra? Why was he so badly damaged when he got to 8 tails? It doesn't make any sense that he can use 4 tails with only light burns, 6 tails with slightly worse burns, then at 8 tails his skin melts," stated Ra quietly. "Simple," came a voice behind the three. They spun around to see a tall, buff, white-haired man with a long beard and pure white eyes. "What can we do for you, Lord Jinso?" asked Rock. "Oh, not much. I was bored and decided to come visit, only to find you three watching another human," stated Jinso. His voice, while deep and powerful, held an air of childishness. "What is so special about this boy that has all of you interested in him?" "That would be my fault, sir. He signed a contract with my lowers, the Toads, and I decided to check into him a bit further," states Ra as he held his hand up, motioning the white-haired man to the giant crystal dome. "Another Toad summoner catch your interest him. That Minato was quite a fine human, though he only found the answer after his life ended. Am I to assume that this young man has a superior heart to the last champion you three chose?" asked Jinso as he began to watch the key points of the boy's life: beatings, slanders, the Uchiha incident, learning of his parents and burden, his first kill, the test of the immortal phoenix, and so on. "Very impressive. The boy has a perfect heart and a wonderful mind. Has he passed any tests yet?" "Other than the immortal phoenix, he has passed the great question in both all of our preliminary tests. I'm ready to begin the training if the others deem him worthy," Stated Ra, I'm going to give him the unstoppable dragon and see if his soul is in fact pure, though I doubt he will fail. Stated Iroh, I will give him the ultimate choice test. I'm not as convinced as the others are that he is ready to become the champion yet. Stated Rock, alright then, call for me when he begins his training. Stated Jinso as he started to disappear. Oh, you might want to check in with the toads. Fukasaku might be small, but his wife will beat the shit out of you if you steal his summoner. Wait sir. You said you knew why he burned so badly as 8 tails, but not 6, stated Ra. Ah yes, it is quite simply really. Only half of Kyuubi is sealed in the young boy. It would make sense that Kyuubi's chakra would not mix well when the boy tried to mix it with his own. Stated Jinso, who then fully disappeared into nothingness. This proves a problem, stated Rock. What would that be? While his spiritual energy is strong, his physical energy will be much stronger due to Kyuubi. Can he learn to harness true nature with being off balance? Questioned the brown-haired man. We will have to work around this. Chapter 7. Raining Blood. It had been just under 48 hours since Naruto passed out on the bridge, and in the time slot, surprisingly little had happened. With most of the worker heavily injured, though only 3 or 4 dead, there was no one to work in the bridge, and with Naruto still out cold, Sakura still on thin ice with Tsunami, Sasuke constantly training, though not improving much, as he couldn't get his Sharingan to reactivate, and Zabooza and Haku hiding out in Gato's mansion, the country of Wave had been on a basic standstill. Though most of the population was still celebrating the death of Gato, as Tazuna, Inari and even Kakashi in disguise spreading the news of how Naruto fought off 2S class ninja and personally killed Gato and a little under half his thugs, most of the village was praising the blonde to near god-like status, though Sakura was usually there to tell her version of the fight, where Sasuke single-handedly beat everyone. Thank God no one believed her. Naruto slowly stirred around 6 in the morning, opening his eyes to show the dull shine of blue that his Rinnegan cast. Man, what hit me? Questioned Naruto as sat up, only to see that he was shirtless and had on a pair of old sweatpants. Several S-rank jutsu, wind-laced kunai, and from what I saw, about 8 tails of Kyuubi chakra. Naruto simply stood up and walked towards the door. Where you heading? What do you think, Kakashi? I can only assume that I've been out cold for a day or 2. I'm going to eat, shit, and go get my stuff from the bottom of the sea. Stated Naruto as he cracked his neck and back. I already retrieved your things. These seals you use are quite interesting, some sort of reinforcement seal mixed with a chakra conversion seal, stated Kakashi as he held up 7 or 8 scrolls. Where's my sword? I know for a fact I'm the only one who could carry it. Stated Naruto. In the bridge, you must have stabbed it into the bridge after you slaughtered Gato's men. Stated Kakashi. Naruto looked at the scrolls and picked one up, unsealing a pair of blue glasses, placing them on, and again walking to the door. Does Sasuke know exactly who I fought? No, he knows you fought 2S class ninja, but he doesn't know that you fought Danzo. Stated Kakashi, knowing that Sasuke was training and couldn't hear them. Good. Make sure he doesn't learn about it, otherwise he's going to demand more training. Unknown cave. So the Kyuubi Jinchuriki is extremely powerful, asked Pain, his pale purple eyes shining bright in the darkness of the cave. Yes, he can use up to 6 tails and remain somewhat in control. He broke my most powerful Genjutsu, defeated my Baku and even managed to kill me twice. Stated Danzo. Pain seemed to think for a minute before speaking again. Kakazu, what injuries do you have? He destroyed my earth heart. Other than that, nothing. Stated Kakazu. Rank his skills with and without Kyuubi chakra. Without, he has extreme speed, so much so that I'm starting to believe it's a body flicker of some sort, as he moved from about 50 feet away to behind me before I even knew what was going on. He's very strong as well as quick. He was able to dodge my best combos while he was on water and even my tendrils up close. Stated Kakazu. Most of the members rose an eyebrow at the thought of fighting someone that fast. With Kyuubi chakra, his speed is just as great, his strength is monstrous, one punch folded me in half and liquefied my insides. Also, he seems to be immune to Genjutsu while using Kyuubi's chakra. Stated Danzo. So Minato's brat is just as bothersome as he was. That doesn't surprise me, given his parentage, that seems about right. Stated Orochimaru. Who is his mother? Questioned Sasori. Kushina, the Red Death, Uzumaki, stated Danzo. Several sharp inhales and even a gasp was heard when Naruto's full parentage was unveiled. Pain narrowed his eyes. Konoha is the site for this year's Chunin exams, is it not? Asked Pain. That's what Toby heard, stated Toby. Perhaps we should use the event to gain access to the village. If we can get to the Kyuubi during the festivities, perhaps he won't have time to prepare for a fight, and we can catch him off guard. Stated Pain. The Kazekage's son will also be in the exams, but he will be tricky to get to. Stated the black half the plant man known as Zetsu. Hell, why don't we just attack the Chunin exams? Seems like it would be simpler. Village of Wave Naruto had eaten, chatted with Tsunami, they had discussed several topics, including his feelings towards her. He then played with Inari, teaching him how to throw knives and use a small sword he had taken from a thug. He then had lunch and was now walking through the village. All the while never changing from the blue sweatpants he had woken up in, giving everyone that saw him a view of his outrageously chiseled torso and arms. Is that him? Asked one elderly man. Blonde hair, whisker marks, wearing sunglasses. Looks to be him, stated another older man that had been playing shogi with the first old man. Naruto chuckled quietly to himself as he listened to the various comments from the people he walked by. That's the kid that killed Gato. He's more like a god than a man, I want his children. Okay, that last one freaked him out a little bit. Naruto was caught up in his musings when a small girl walked up to him and pulled his pant leg, gaining his attention. Everyone watched with bated breath as the man, kid, god, that killed Gato descended to a knee, deactivating his Rinnegan and looked into her eyes, taking off his glasses, showing his crystal blue orbs to stare into the young girl. Hello little one, how may I help you? The little girl was somewhat startled that the man had such a kind and caring voice, as was most of the village. Most of them expected him to sound godlike or something. My mommy said that you're the one that got rid of the mean man that killed daddy. Is that true? A look of pain formed on his face. That pudgy little fuck didn't get his fill with killing Kaiza, he killed even more innocent people. Yes. I got rid of him. You won't have to worry about him anymore, you're safe now. The little girl jumped into Naruto's chest, her arms wrapping around in as strong a hug as she could muster. Thank you mister, the young girl cried. Naruto held her close, waiting for her to get it all out of her system. Everyone had stopped and had started watching, smiles on their faces as he comforted the small girl, proving even more that he was the hero everyone was taking about. After a couple of minutes the young girl's crying died down, Naruto held her away from himself. Now what's your name? And are you out here with anyone? My name is Amy. I came here with my mommy. She's over there. Little Amy pointed to the side of the street where a 20 or so, rather tall woman. Naruto scooped up the small girl and carried her over to her mother. Hello miss, I believe you lost this. Thank you, smiled the mother, who took the small girl from Naruto and held her. Thank you for saving our village. Truthfully miss, I didn't do that much. If it wasn't for Tazuna, I wouldn't be here, and if it wasn't for my team, I wouldn't have been able to end the tyrant. Stated Naruto as he turned to keep moving down the street. Wait, called out the young mother. Naruto halted and looked back to see what the woman wanted. What's your name? Naruto smiled kindly. Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. 10 minutes later, bridge Naruto arrived at the bridge, only to see huge craters and blood still sitting in the deck of the bridge. Amazing huh? Naruto swiveled his head to see Tazuna. Zabooza cleared all the bodies. Now we just have to clean up the blood and finish the bridge. Unfortunately, my workers are in no shape to finish it. Naruto smiled, and in the next second, 100 Narutos appeared and moved to the bridge, using water-style jutsu to clear the blood and wind chakra to dry everything and remove debris. Just tell my clones what to do and they'll do it, old man. You really are a hero, my boy, stated Tazuna as he moved to the bridge. A quickly growing crowd watched in awe as the young man that saved their village multiplied and started to repair the bridge and build it closer and closer to shore. I'm no hero, I was only the one who was in the right place, at the right time, and had the right tools. Stated Naruto with a smile before he flashed to his sword, which was right where Kakashi said it was. He then flashed away, the crowd none the wiser he had left. No kid, you are a hero. You're just too good a person to claim it. Gato's mansion, so what are you going to do now? Asked Naruto. Him and Zabooza were standing in front of the giant vault in the back of his mansion. Haku looked through the books. We're taking all the money that Yagura paid the midget and taking it to Kiri to help overthrow the bloodline haters. Stated Zabooza. I felt bad about it at first, but once I saw just how much money is in that vault, I thought better of it. Stated Haku. So you're off to fight a Kage, huh? I think you'll need to get a bit stronger to do that. Stated Naruto. You're right, kid. I'm high Jonin, but Yagura is mid-Kage. I don't really know what to do, but I guess for now I'll just train. Stated Zabooza. Naruto pulled a scroll out of his pocket and tossed it to Zabooza. The training equipment I used to get to where I am is in there. Weighted vest, ankle weights, wrist weights and a couple of jutsu you might find useful. Stated Naruto. You just never stop, do you, kid? Stated Zabooza as he placed the scroll in his pocket. My dream in life is to stop the circle of hatred that covers this world. So far I've only found one solution, and it's not an easy one. I must become the center of hate and despair. If everyone is focused on me, whether it be beside me or against me, it will reduce the amount of hate and slow the cycle. Stated Naruto. If you take over Kiri as its new leader, I know you'll lead it well, and back to greatness. When that day comes, you will repay this favor by doing what is necessary to keep peace. Wow, that's deep, kid. When I take over Kiri, I think I'm going to make you an honorary member of Kiri. Stated Zabooza before an almost visible light bulb went off in Zabooza's head. He shot over to the desk next to the vault and picked up a small black book with one word in it. I think that should help out some. 2 days later, Bridge, you'll come back, right Naruto ni? Asked Inari with tears in his eyes. Naruto struck a thinking pose. Many of the crowd were waiting intently for the answer. Quote. Of course I will. Many of the large crowd that surrounded the group of Konoha shinobi cheered for the blonde. It's with great honor that named this bridge after you, Naruto. Stated Tazuna as two of the not-so-injured bridge workers pulled down on a length of rope to unveil a large cross beam that had the great Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze bridge inscribed into it. Another cheer sounded throughout the crowd along with a small clap from Kakashi. I would ask you rename the bridge for those who have fallen to Gato, but I know you won't. Thank you for this great honor. Stated Naruto as he bowed to the crowd and started to move down the bridge, a brooding Sasuke and a confused Sakura behind him. 2 hours later it had been a relatively quiet trip back home so far. Kakashi had congratulated Naruto for a job well done and had said that he was almost assured for a promotion, to which Sasuke questioned why Naruto would get a promotion when he wouldn't. Kakashi and Naruto both looked at him like he was retarded and kept moving. Sakura had been near silent the whole way home, which scared the blonde and Scarecrow. She had been thinking where she had heard the name Namikaze before. She had asked around in Wave for any information on Uchiha, and was pissed off when everyone answered the same way that both Naruto and Tazuna had. After coming to grips with the possibility that the Uzumaki might have been a real clan, she started looking into what the Whirlpool clan might have specialized in. She was once again angered when they replied with any elemental techniques and seals. Now she was trying to think of the other part of Naruto's supposed last name, Namikaze. Only one other person in the world had that last name, and that was the Yondaime, but Naruto didn't look anything like. No fucking way. Drop the henge Naruto, shouted Sakura out of the blue. The three males of the group stated at the girl like she had gone crazy. Well, she already was, but that's beside the point. What are you talking about, Haruno? Questioned Naruto, an eyebrow raised above his now blue sunglasses. You're in a henge. How else could you look so much like Yondaime-sama? Accused the Pinkett. Hey, finally figured it out, huh? I'm surprised it took so long. Laughed Naruto as he pulled out a kunai and held it up. Sakura scowled at the kunai. It was a replica of the legendary Hirishin kunai. It even had a fake seal. Naruto handed the kunai to Kakashi and said, "Does this look like the Yondaime's kunai?" Kakashi already knew it was, but decided to put on a show for his student. Yep, even got the seal right. Stated Kakashi as he turned and threw the kunai at a tree, only for Naruto to disappear in a flash and reappear, holding the kunai an inch away from the tree. Satisfied Haruno. Next day, Hokage office. So. You then fought off two. Unknown, S-rank nin. Kakashi incapacitated Zabooza. Sasuke lost to his apprentice and then you killed the tyrant Gato. Questioned Sarutobi. making sure to leave out the part about Danzo, lest he have to deal with the damned Uchiha again. Correct, Hokage-sama. I am also recommending Naruto for an unanimous promotion due to his performance in this mission, as well as permission on a private matter involving one of my team, stated Kakashi. Sasuke stood by, brooding so hard that you could actually hear the low growl coming from his throat. Sakura was next to Sasuke, trying her best to gain his attention and failing miserably while at the same time denying that Naruto was the fourth son, as it would mean that he was more special than Sasuke, which just wasn't possible. Alright, Sasuke, Sakura. You're dismissed. Naruto, if you and Kakashi would please stay, I have something to tell both of you, stated Sarutobi as he ushered both Sasuke and Sakura out the door. Naruto, I'm sorry to inform you of this, but to be promoted to Chunin, you will have to go before the Shinobi Council, though I'm sure that they will allow your promotion after seeing your mission report, stated Sarutobi. Naruto nodded. He already knew there was a high chance of this happening. So that just leaves your issue, Kakashi. Kakashi closed his book, and looked to the aged Kage. I'm going to be blunt, Hokage-sama. Sakura is useless and a hindrance due to her complete lack of skill in her obsession with Sasuke. Sasuke is even more dangerous and is mentally unstable. His drive to kill Danzo is the only thing he cares about, and I'm sure it will come to a fight between him and Naruto, and we both know what will happen if they fought. Sarutobi suddenly had visions of the young Uchiha in about 700 tiny flesh ribbons compressed into a small Sasuke ball. Yes, I could see how that could become a problem. Well, pending investigation, I will disband Team 7, promote Naruto-kun to Chunin, and then perhaps Anbu or Hunter Nin. I'm going to need to find a way for Sasuke to be taken of the active shinobi roster along with Miss Haruno without the council going apeshit. Naruto and Kakashi both sweat dropped. Old man. Perhaps you wish to rethink that last statement. I know what I said, it was supposed to be a joke, stated Sarutobi. I thought it was rather clever. Hokage-sama. Perhaps we should start the process of promoting Naruto, questioned Kakashi. Yes. Miss Tari, could you bring me the field promotion forms, questioned Sarutobi loudly. Of course, Hokage-sama. Oh hello Naruto, are the one being promoted? Asked the young woman, who had replaced the last secretary that came down with a sudden case of death after trying to kill Naruto. This one was the definition of a bombshell. Long legs, full ass, big chest, brunette, and surprisingly smart. She wore tight black jeans, a blue deep V-cut t-shirt, and sandals similar to the ones that Tsunade the Sannin wore. Hopefully, how have you been? Asked Naruto, thankful that his sunglasses hid his eyes, as he was staring at the young woman's large breast. Oh, I've been alright, a little lonely, but other than that good. Yourself? Asked Tari as she moved to the shelf on the far side of the office. Might be promoted, but you already know that. What are your plans tonight? About an hour later, council room. A little early for the bi-monthly meeting, stated Inoichi. Perhaps we've been selected to host the Chunin exams, stated Heishi. That's not it. If that was the case, the civilians would be here, stated Shikaku suddenly. Naruto, Kakashi and Sarutobi flashed into the room, startling the shinobi inside. Sarutobi moved to his spot and Naruto and Kakashi moved to stand in the meeting area in front of the long table. You're half right. So far we're the choice for the Chunin exam, though it is not set in stone, stated Sarutobi as he adjusted himself in his chair. Now for the real reason for this meeting, the promotion of Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze to Chunin and possibly even to Special Jonin or into Anbu or the Hunters Division. Rejected, stated Heishi. Oh. Did your all-seeing eye see what happened during the A or more than likely S-rank mission we just came back from? Questioned Naruto. He didn't even give time for Heishi to answer before he spoke again. Or perhaps you didn't look at the folder that was placed in front of you when you got here. You should watch your tone, Uzumaki. I'm a high-level Jonin for a reason, threatened Heishi. Sarutobi sat back with a smirk on his face. Now I know you didn't bother to read the contents of that folder in front of you. I beat Zabooza Momochi, and drove off not one, but two S-class criminals in the time span of about 2 weeks, but I suppose that wouldn't mean much, now would it? Questioned Naruto sarcastically. You do know that it's treason to lie before the council, stated Inoichi in a threatening, becoming tired of the child's lack of respect. You know it's also illegal to slander a clan head with false accusations in a formal meeting, or do you forget that I own more than half of Konoha and that I'm the closest thing to a prince this village has, due to my father being Hokage, my mother being of royal blood and me legally being the grandson of the Shodaime. Before you call me a liar, maybe you should take your old teammates lead and read the fucking folder that was handed to you on your way in, stated Naruto with killing intent, focused solely on Heishi and Inoichi. The council was in complete silence as they thought over everything the blonde had said and then began reading the contents inside the folder. They were shocked to see an S-rank mission report that had been filled out by both Kakashi Hatake as captain and Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze as the co-captain and leader of the mission after Kakashi was injured. Still want to call me a liar? Besides, I now have personal information that could be very vital to one of your clans. Seems one of you is working with Gato. Now I'm not going to come out and say it until someone forced my hand, but until then, you know who you are and you should know that I will destroy you should you wish to butt heads with me. Stated Naruto as he held up a small black book. Chuza was the first to speak up. If half the information in this report is true, then you are easily qualified for the promotion. Though I would like a seal master to look at your seal to make sure you didn't damage it in the eight-tailed state. As well as a mental examination. It's troubling to hear that you ripped a mon's soul out. I can't imagine one would walk away normal from that. Stated soon. I just want you to play Shikamaru in a game of shogi to show if you have a strategic enough mind for higher level duties once you reach Jonin. Stated the elder Nara. Heishi just nodded, knowing better than to speak again, as anything he said would make him look even more foolish that he had already portrayed. Inoichi did the same as Heishi. Well then Naruto, I'll set your test for tomorrow, and the day after you'll be sent to either Anbu or the Hunter Division. Next day Naruto had aced the mental exam, much to the shock of his examiner Inoichi. He had Sarutobi check the seal, it had loosened a little, but nothing extravagant. Now every Jonin, Chunin and several of the older genin, along with Ino and Choji were watching Naruto beat several keen minds in the game of shogi. First he faced some nameless Chunin, beating him in 15 moves, then he faced Guy, who had a surprising amount of skill in setting up complex and quick-hitting battle plans. Naruto beat him in 27 moves. Naruto then faced Kakashi, who showed his incredible intelligence when he had backed Naruto into a corner, right before Naruto started and executed a completely out-of-the-blue diversion attack combo that ended Kakashi before he ever had a chance to build a defense. The next match was against Shikamaru, who Naruto lead straight into a decoy trap and then took the queen and king. Now it was the crown jewel of shogi to face off against the blonde, Shikaku Nara. I must say I'm impressed kid. You have a great mind, but only one man has ever beat me in shogi, and you're nowhere near him. Stated Shikaku, doing his best to start a mind game against the younger blonde, counting on his inexperience and Uzumaki traits to cause him to anger. It seemed to work like a charm. Naruto started off with a power maneuver that shifted the arrangement of his front line into a cone shape. Shikaku continued his taunts, causing the blonde to continue his dangerous, yet risky attacks. Check. Stated Shikaku confidently. Though he was about to win, he was amazed that the blonde had played so well, even under emotional distress. It amazes me that the lead strategist of the village would be so blind to a bluff. Stated Naruto, his suddenly calm and collected attitude a total 180 from his heated and miscalculating aura he had been putting out not 2 minutes ago. Naruto started moving his pieces in a seemingly erratic pattern. Shikaku found himself helpless as he went from a almost sure win into being on the receiving end of raining blood. The only strategy known that was completely inescapable. How? No one has ever gotten the raining blood on me. Stated Shikaku, every Jonin and most of the Chunin in the room were all speechless. The lead strategist had just gotten stopped by a 13-year-old boy. Easy. You baited me, and I used your strategy against you, all the while making it seem like I was containing anger that wasn't there. Then at the last possible move, I shifted strategies, changed mindsets and left you in the dust. Even the most intelligent man will lose everything to the man that can change moves on a pinhead and has nothing to lose. Chapter 8. Mito and Jake's Rigor. It has been about 3 months since Naruto had been promoted to Chunin and then became the poster boy of the Utility Anbu Battalion, aka UAB, which is a go-between for the Hokage's personal guard, the Torture and Intelligence Division and the Hunter Nin Division. During his time in UAB, Naruto had done it all, from clearing the C, B, and all but one of the A-ranked criminals from Konoha's bingo book, extracting information from a few Rouge ninja, and even spent a week as Sarutobi's personal guard, though he didn't like that much, seeing as he had to stay still for about 8 hours at a time. After Naruto's promotion, Team 7 had been put on the reserves list. Sakura and Sasuke both had mental evaluations, standard procedure when anyone under the rank of Jonin participates in an S-rank mission, and the results were shocking to the man who did the evaluations. Sakura was completely and utterly devoted to the Uchiha, and held a deep hatred for Naruto and Kakashi, who she believed held back the Uchiha, but for anyone who was stronger than Sasuke, higher rank than him, or even simply people who she felt got in her way of Sasuke, which was any kunoichi, teammate or even sensei she had ever had and probably ever would have. Needless to say, Sakura was pulled from the ninja program and forced to have psychiatric help. Sasuke was another story. Sasuke had both an inferiority complex and a superiority complex. Meaning that he thought he was God and that his word was law, but anytime anyone proved better than him at anything, or anyone went against him, he became extremely enraged and jealous. He found that Sasuke had a truly one-track mind, and surprisingly, it wasn't for killing Danzo, it was killing anyone that was stronger than him and taking their power for his own. Inoichi had tried to get him pulled from the shinobi program, but was denied, so he settled for placing Sasuke on the inactive list with post-mission distress syndrome, a well-known condition where on high-ranking missions, the stress takes effect and the ninja needs a break from action. Sasuke went along with it, because it meant more time for him to train. Currently, Naruto was once again on guard duty for the Hokage, though through some bribing, he had gotten the outdoor post, which just so happened to be next to Kiritari, the hot young Chunin-level secretary that Naruto had been seeing for about 3 months now. The date he took her on the night he was promoted had gone off without a hitch, and about 2 weeks later they had sex for the first time. Kira hadn't walked right for a week. When Naruto knew that no one else was around, he continued the conversation they had been having. So ready for tonight? Seriously. Do you ever run out of steam? I'm not exactly complaining, but I'm pretty sore, even with the healing jutsu I know, stated Kira, her arms crossed under her impressive bust. Hey, not my fault, I'm a human stamina generator. And you seemed to like it fine a few nights ago. Something about an orgasm-induced coma, stated Naruto cheekily. I did say that, and I did enjoy it. But I have my limits, and you basically rearranging my internal organs pushed it. Why don't you just get another fuck buddy? You know that I don't mind, you do have a clan to rebuild. Stated Kira. She had known about Naruto's clan head status before they even met, due to her helping the old Kage with his paperwork, and she totally supported him having multiple girlfriends. If I could find someone that could compete with you I would, but you're awesome, and every other girl I talk to ends up wanting to be the only girl in my life. Not that I can really blame them. Stated Naruto. He truly did respect women, which is why he always informed them of his situation before anything serious happened. So far, only Kira and his actual fiancée had agreed to him having more than one woman in his life. Well, what about trying to pick up one of the girls coming here for the Chunin exams? They start in 2 weeks. Stated Kira with a smile on her face. Then again, I could always get you and Anko together. Yay, she seems nice. Why didn't I think of her? Naruto questioned himself. Gamma was heard from inside the Hokage's office. In an instant, Naruto slid his mask back over his face and flashed into the Hokage's office, where he saw Sarutobi, Jiraiya and Kakashi. Impressive Gaki, but couldn't you have chosen a different mask? The only one more obvious would be the fox mask. Stated Jiraiya. Naruto quickly understood that this wasn't a time he needed his mask and removed it, showing his blue Rinnegan to the room. Multiple small gasps were heard from the other 6 Anbu located in the room, some because they didn't know that Naruto was Gamma, though most were shocked to see him with the legendary Dujutsu. Of course most of Anbu knew about his Rinnegan, because Anko had one day taken his mask after a flirty comment. Ever since, it had been the talk of Anbu. I would have picked the fox mask, but there isn't one. We're already off track. Naruto, you understand that the Chunin exams are coming up, right? Asked Sarutobi. Of course, Gigi. Does this have to do with Sasuke? Questioned Naruto, his arms crossed at the thought of the brooding Uchiha. Yes and no. Sasuke has passed his re-examination, barely, but he did pass. Jiraiya will fill you in on the rest. Stated Sarutobi. Orochimaru is planning to attack the Chunin exams, and the information I've gathered say that he's after a certain person that he believes will be competing in the exams. Stated Jiraiya. So Akatsuki is after me, in an event in which they could get to me with minimal outside resistance, most likely during the second exam. Stated Naruto. Maybe. Orochimaru has been seen by himself lately. Rumors are he left Akatsuki and is starting his own army, most likely in a village. If he's by himself, you're no longer the target. Stated Jiraiya. Then he would be after Anko or a new body. What kind of person would he be after? Asked Naruto. Easily manipulated, power-hungry, traitorous. Jiraiya was cut off when Naruto filled in the rest for him. Bloodline. He's after one of the Uchiha. He wouldn't be stupid enough to go after Itachi, plus he wouldn't know where he is anyway. That just leaves Sasuke. Stated Naruto. That's where you come in. Sasuke is going to be used as bait to lure out Orochimaru or his minions. I've set it up so that you will be a test taker in the first exam, a proctor in the second exam and the proctor in the third exam. Stated Sarutobi. I request I be able to assemble my own team for the first exam. Stated Naruto. Sorry, but we've already picked the other members, Izumo and Katetsu. Stated Sarutobi. Naruto nodded. Who will be Sasuke's team? There's no way that Sakura passed her re-evaluation, and I'm already busy during that time. Questioned Naruto. I'm signing him up as an add-on to Team Guy. Guy already knows the plan and has agreed to let Sasuke temporarily join the team. It's up to you and Anko, who is proctoring the second exam with you, to decide how he will be participating in the second exam. Stated Kakashi, reading the newest to Jiraiya's smut books. Naruto knew that Sarutobi had the same copy in his desk. Alright. So basically I'm going to be babysitting again, groaned out Naruto. Sarutobi smirked. Yes, and I have a feeling that my grandson will be finding trouble with all the new ninja coming into the village in the next 2 weeks. Keep an eye on him, as well as scouting out any possible spies and any Chunin or Jonin pretending to be Genin. Do I at least get to kill any bingo bookers I see? Asked Naruto. No, son of a bitch. 13 days later, day before the Chunin exams, Naruto was extremely bored. For the last 2 weeks Naruto had met with Anko about the second stage. They ultimately had just wasted time, as they kept everything the same, exempt Sasuke had to get his own scrolls. After that, Naruto met with Izumo and Katetsu. Once again, nothing had come from the meetings. Naruto was currently watching over Konohamaru and scouring for any spies or fakes in the crowds. So far he found none, though he did have to admit that he found several females that topped his interest. A blonde Suna Genin, along with 2 blondes from Kumo, one a Genin and the other most likely a Jonin instructor, due to her massive amount of chakra. Naruto's eyes became glued to the scene before him. The Konohamaru Corps has just stumbled across Naruto's old teammate. Hi Sakura, how are you? Asked Moegi kindly. I'm fine, how are you? Asked Sakura not so kindly. She knew these kids were Naruto supporters, or like as she called them, Sasuke haters. We're good. Have you seen Naruto near Iruka-sensei? We're looking for someone to teach us a new jutsu. Asked Udon. Why wouldn't you want Sasuke to teach you? He's the best ninja in this village. Stated Sakura in a matter-of-fact tone. Because Sasuke-tem launched a fireball at us last time we asked him, and Naruto and Iruka-sensei are both Chunin. And my uncle said that Naruto knows both of the fourth jutsu, stated Konohamaru excitedly. So what? Sasuke-kun has the Sharingan. He's an elite, shouted Sakura, getting many looks confusion from the visiting ninja. Whatever you flat-chested fangirl, if you don't want to help then forget it. Stated Konohamaru as the Konohamaru Corps began to walk away. Sakura was seeing red. Those brats dare say that Naruto was a better teacher than Sasuke. Then he dare call her flat-chested. He must die. Konohamaru-kun. Run! Yelled Moegi when she saw Sakura rear her fist back and swing at Konohamaru. Konohamaru ducked the punch and took off in the opposite direction of the enraged ex-kunoichi. Naruto watched with interest as the young boy and his friends ran for their lives. The 3 children rounded the corner, only for Konohamaru to smack straight into the side of a large black cat man with makeup on his face. Hey you little shit. That hurt, yelled the cat man. You're going to pay for that. Kankuro, put him down. He's just a kid, and from the look of it, he was running from her. Stated Temari as she pointed at Sakura, who hadn't moved yet. I don't care. He disrespected me and now he's going to pay. Stated the now named Kankuro. He lined his fist up with Konohamaru's face and threw a punch at the small kid. Konohamaru closed his eyes and waited for the punch. He heard a dull thud, but felt no pain. You can open your eyes now, Kono. And you are going to let him down right now. Konohamaru opened his eyes to see a rather large hand holding his assailant's fist about 2 inches away from his nose. He looked over to the man who had stopped the punch, only to see blue eyes and blonde hair. Standing there holding back Kankuro's fist like it was child's play was Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. Better known as Gamma, to most of the shinobi of Konoha and the Second Flash. Kankuro was scared shitless. This hulking man had just stopped a punch like it was nothing. Remember from the first few chapters that Naruto is 5 feet 9 inches and very muscular. Temari, however, was petrified. She knew exactly who this was, as she enjoyed reading the bingo book every once in a while, and the last time she read it she was stuck on one person. Name: Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. A rank: village, Konoha rank, Anbu Chunin class, Jinchuriki hair, blonde eyes, blue height, 5 feet 9 inches bio, believed to be the son of the Yellow Flash, due to both name and used of the Ajutsu very similar to the Hiraishin. Raised in Konoha until the age of 8. Returned to village after 4 years, highest score of all time in the Konoha Genin exam, surpassing his supposed father and his first sensei, Kakashi Hatake. Affinities: wind, lightning, water. Rumored fire. Skills: taijutsu, high jonin. Reportedly fought off 2S rank ninja at once. Extremely fast, capable on mimicking Hiraishin with pure speed, also can use Hiraishin with kunai. Extremely powerful, said to have decapitated multiple enemies with one punch to the head. Ninjutsu. Low jonin high cage. Uses jutsu which have no rank. All ninjutsu are based in pure chakra manipulation, knows Rasengan and has added both lightning and wind to it. Holds claim of second largest known chakra levels, behind Kisame Hoshigaki. Genjutsu. Mid-high jonin. Uses spur of the moment genjutsu that he matches to surrounding environment. Difficult to detect, due to his massive chakra reserves, extremely hard to break. Genjutsu. High jonin. Reportedly beat Zabooza Momochi in a sword fight. Fuinjutsu. Seal master, rumored to have surpassed Jiraiya in the art of sealing. Intelligence. Genius, reports state that he has beaten Shikaku Nara in multiple matches if shogi. Ordered capture on site in Kumo. Kill on site in Iwa. Kankuro. Get away from him now. Cried out Temari, fearing for her brother's life, and even though she knew her brother was in danger, she couldn't help but drool slightly at the torso and bulge on the anbu. No way, I'm going to teach this punk a lesson, shouted Kankuro as he pulled the bundle off his back. I wouldn't do that, stated Naruto as he moved Konohamaru out of the way. Kankuro don't. He's like Gara, shouted Temari. Kankuro immediately froze. Temari, Kankuro. Might I ask why you're bothering my brother? Asked an emotionless voice from the tree on the side of the alleyway. Both were relieved that their little brother was there to help them. Temari looked to the tree where Gara was standing on a branch. To her surprise, Naruto appeared behind him. Hello Shukaku. How's the bloodlust doing? Next day Sasuke Uchiha strolled into the academy about 45 minutes before the exams was to start, planning on flaunting the fact that 1. He was an Uchiha, 2. He was competing by himself, and finally, thanks to the council, once he became a Chunin, he would be getting training from Jiraiya the Sannin. Little did the Uchiha know, Jiraiya had absolutely no interest in teaching, the Uchiha brat, as he called him. Please let us through, was heard as he moved towards a crowd of Chunin hopefuls standing in front of a door that was being blocked by 3 unfamiliar Konoha genin. Trust me, you don't want any part of this exam. You see my teammate? Questioned the tallest of the genin blocking the door as he pointed to the redhead next to him. Yay, what's he going to do? Beat us up if we try going through you? Questioned a mist genin with a breathing mask on. No, he's going to show you what happens when you're unprepared for this exam. Mito, go ahead and show the young ones the gift that Iwa genin gave you, stated the other brunette blocking the door. Mito nodded and opened his mouth slowly. As he opened his mouth, he revealed that there was no teeth or tongue in the front of his mouth. Most of the gathered genin gasped in shock, though a certain Uchiha couldn't stand that all the attention on someone else. Drop the Genjutsu. This is only the second floor. Stated the Uchiha as if it was obvious. You hucking ihio. Ha wa a oino a gehushu, shouted the redhead that was missing a tongue, showing that he really was missing half of his tongue. Man, you said it, Mito. What kind of fucking idiot makes more work for himself by telling everyone they're being fooled by a Genjutsu? Questioned the taller one as he let the Genjutsu fall, revealing that the room that was labeled 201 was now labeled 301. Yay, now I see why his teammate was promoted and that idiot was put on leave. Said the shorter brunette as they all walked up the stairs to the third floor was. What did you say? Questioned Sasuke angrily as he activated his Sharingan and followed them. Huko uheha. You a bitch, stated the redhead as he continued to walk away. Both his teammates just giggled and moved right along with him. You, redhead. Fight me, shouted Sasuke. Huko. I'd wipe he huckin' lore we you. Stated the redhead, not even looking back at him. A few minutes later, wow Naruto, you're real good with that whole Tonguelis bit. Where you pick that up? Asked Izumo, still in his henge. Last month Anko landed a Senbon in my jaw which paralyzed my tongue, I just mimicked that. Stated Naruto, still looking like the redhead. How the hell did that work? You're our top hunter Nin. How did she hit you? Questioned Katetsu, long story, I'll tell you later. Let's go in. Stated. Mito, inside classroom Naruto and the gate guards appeared in the room and moved to the back corner of the room, where Naruto saw two things that immediately had his attention. 1. Kabuto, the one he suspected of being a spy, was chatting with the rookie 9. The second thing he saw, was a Kumo nin that he knew for a fact that was on par with him when he didn't use Kyuubi or the Rinnegan. Jake's Rigor. You two, keep an eye on the Suna nins and the Oto nins. I'm going to go investigate some issues. Stated. Mito, who moved over to the rookie 9. So you only have information on the people in this room? Questioned Ino. Not exactly. There are a lot of people that I have here that either were promoted in previous exams or just aren't participating due to external factors. If memory serves right, there was a Konoha nin and a Kumo nin that were promoted and either had someone else fill in for them or just aren't participating. Stated Kabuto. Who are the ones that aren't participating? Asked Kiba. Let me check. Ah, here we are. The nin from Kumo that isn't participating is Karui. No given name, says she was run through on AB rank and is on injury leave. She was replaced by Jake's Rigor, a highly respected Kumo genin who is said to be on par with several jonin in his village. The ninja from here that aren't participating are Sakura Haruno, who had failed a mental exam after AC rank turned S rank where she watched her teammate massacre an estimated 300 bandits and took down a crime lord. Her teammate that killed off the small army was promoted and has rumored to have fallen off the face of the planet, which leads me to believe that he's been enlisted in Anbu. Stated Kabuto. Wow, you were right Shika. Naruto was promoted. Stated Choji, yay, you don't beat my old man and not impress some people. Stated Shikamaru. I want information on Gara from Suna, that Kumo guy you mentioned with the weird name, Naruto Uzumaki and a redhead named Mito from Konoha. Stated Sasuke. Well the first to come up is Mito, no given name. He's a taijutsu expert, decent in both nin and genjutsu but a total monster in kenjutsu. Bio says that he's extremely foul-mouthed unless talking to a superior. Earned the nickname the Bloodstained Hurricane, because of his red hair and kenjutsu style involves fast and aggressive attacks. Lost a good chunk of his tongue during a run-in with the Iwa explosive core. Next up is Gara from Suna. High Taiyan ninjutsu, uses sand as a weapon, says here he's never been hurt on a mission, even the A rank where he apparently killed a large number of enemy ninja. Next is your old teammate. I got most of this from a friend in Iowa that I fought against in the last exam. Naruto Uzumaki, high chunin in taijutsu, outstandingly fast, very strong, uses odd ninjutsu that are mostly straight chakra manipulation. Thought to have joined Anbu, other than that, I got nothing. Last up is Jake's Rigor. High level of Taiyan ninjutsu. Medium in genjutsu. Said to be highly skilled in all forms of weapons, but most of all a bow staff that is made of a chakra tree with chakra metal as a core. Taught by Daruya the Black Lightning and the 4th Raikage. With Naruto aka Mito. Hello Naruto. Said Jake, who had a rather deep voice. His light brown, almost blonde hair was as curly and messy as possible and fell around his ears and covered the top of his headband. He wore a dual-shoulder Kumo Genin flak jacket over a blue long-sleeved t-shirt that was cut off just below the elbow. He wore matching blue Anbu pants that, while loose, showed his absolutely massive legs. His light blue eyes were narrowed at the blonde. As good a sensor as ever. So what are you doing here? Asked Naruto quietly. Even Naruto looked small standing next to the 5, 11, 16-year-old. You know I wouldn't tell you if you hadn't saved my life from the snake pedo, stated Jake as he looked around and put up a privacy seal. We're here to get Samui and Omoi promoted, I was the fill-in. That's the story we're using. The real reason we're here is to make sure the two Hyuga aren't in danger from the other Kumo team. Kumo still having problems? Asked Naruto. Yay, but what are you going to do? My personal mission was to find you and to beat the fuck out of that Uchiha. Stated Jake. He personally hated most Genjutsu users, Naruto and Itachi being the exception. He hated them because they 1. Take all the Kage Genkai glory, and 2. Hide behind their eyes. You're not the only one, hopefully you get the chance, God knows he needs it. How's the project coming? Asked Naruto. Good. Darui-sensei and Asama have been helping a lot. I almost have complete control of the new element, and even have a few jutsu. Maybe you and I can spar during the month off we have to train, asked Jake. Yay, no doubt. But until then, I'm sure you'll take care, especially if you can use the Keke Totem. Hopefully you guys liked it, and don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next one.